Well, hi, welcome back to Hills in Business. Today we thought we would have a relaxed day. It's Sunday. Yesterday we spent the day looking at various houses in this particular area and decided to come back and have a look again, because it felt as though, well, for me it did anyway, that we went through the homes fairly quickly and it was a lot to process at the time. So it was just nice to come back and have some time, walk around the parks a little bit, but also give you guys some feedback after 3 weeks. It's been 3 weeks here in Las Vegas, and I thought we could share our initial thoughts and impressions, what we like, dislike, what's been surprising so far. Yeah?
Yep.
Sound good?
Sounds good.
So I'll start. In terms of what I've liked so far in the first few weeks, and it's not really surprising, it's definitely the weather. It's nice that here, even if it's not that warm, so it's always sunny generally, and even in the UK when it's cold, when the sun's out, I've always liked that. So what's immediately noticeable being here in Las Vegas is the sunshine and the nicer weather. And this weekend, for example, it started at, I think, low 20s yesterday. Today it's mid 20s, and that's the way it's going to stay. So it's just really nice to know you've got good weather and it's reliable in the fact that you can plan and do things.
Yeah, for me the worst part of being in England is the weather, alongside the taxes, but that will come up a lot with me. But yeah, here, even when the weather's bad, it's bad for a day or two. It might be a little bit cloudy and then it clears up, so you can reliably know that if you're going to set something up to do in the middle of the day, you'll be able to go out and do it. You don't have to rearrange, or you've got a 3-week hiatus where it's raining for 3 weeks straight. So that's been really nice. Another thing that's nice for me is the freedom. So what comes with America is you're allowed outside. After spending 3 or 4 months locked down, it was really tough, especially not being able to go to the gym, which I'd been going to for probably 20 years. And then obviously England decided there was a lockdown. Here, everybody's at the gym. Everybody pretty much wears masks, not always, but in the most part. And that's it. You go to the gym, you work out, you go home, you're not dead. Imagine.
Yeah, for me, that's the biggest thing. And that's definitely one of my top things, is just being able to do things. And it makes you appreciate just being able to live and do the simple things. And I'm not even talking about not even going to the shops. It's more than that. It's just going out and living life. And that's the bit that 2020 especially we just did not get. And going into 2021 in the UK, I mean, you're still in lockdown now. So for me, I just appreciate freedom.
Yeah.
Good
So
way
we've
to put
been another positive is we've been going out for meals daily, 1 to 2 times a day, and on the weekend sometimes 3 times a day. Just being able to get outside is really nice. Being able to wear shorts and a t-shirt or joggers and a t-shirt, again, really nice. Somebody's flying their drone, so it might get picked up. We need to get a drone actually to capture better footage at some point.
I kept saying that a view of where this location with the mountains would be amazing on a drone, but maybe when we've got more subscribers, we can do that.
Yeah, she doesn't push the subscriber thing enough for me.
I feel really awkward about doing it. So Ant's always telling me, oh, you have to close out properly and you have to ask people to subscribe and comment. I feel very awkward about asking you to subscribe. I feel like if you wanted to, you would do it, but
that's just not how it works.
I know.
So we know there's repeat visitors or viewers. So I'd say about 95% of people that watch the videos are not subscribed. So my thing is,
just ask.
Yeah,
I should ask. I know.
You should ask up front, and you should ask closing out the video. It doesn't cost anybody anything, and it takes 1 second to click subscribe. Unless you're on a TV, it's slightly different.
So, and carrying on the theme of what I've liked here, definitely the food, and in particular, so before we were coming to Las Vegas, the area that we was moving to was the Bay Area in California, and the selection there, simply due to how multicultural, different types of people living there, there's lots of food options in California. But when I started saying to people that I was moving to Las Vegas, everyone kept saying, oh, your food's going to be amazing. I think you was a bit uncertain as to how good it would be, but everyone kept saying, and I have to say I can't complain, everything, whether it's, I mean, we love Asian food pretty much, whether it's Korean, Thai, Japanese, Chinese, but there's also a huge selection of Mexican food, healthy options. Pretty much whatever you want you can find here, which I love.
Yeah, the food thing, I hadn't been told Vegas food was good, and I assumed that when people would say it was good, they were talking about their high-end restaurants, which isn't really me. Knowing California, I knew how good just general street food is. So I was a little bit skeptical, but actually it's been a really nice surprise. There's far more selection at far more reasonable prices than the UK, and I like to eat a lot. Not a lot at once, but a lot throughout the day. I can graze for the 18 hours that I'm awake. Well, I'm usually awake about 20 hours, but I can graze the entire day, so it's great here.
Definitely, good food. What else have I liked? So weather, the food, being out, freedom, being able to do things. The houses, the way, I wasn't really sure how much I would really like how the setup is here over the Bay Area, and because of the master plan communities, this kind of faked way of creating your residential environments, but I do really like it, especially here where I feel very detached from the strip here. I don't feel as though it's all about gambling when I'm here. I feel actually these are people with their kids, they're going out for walks, it's lovely to see people cycling. So in my opinion, how they've created the communities here is really nice, and I like the homes and how they've set the homes up in a very thoughtful way to me. And I think that's an American home design thing. It's not necessarily particular to Las Vegas, just things like having a walk-in wardrobe, his and her bathrooms, the kitchen area with the pantry, waste disposal. So there's really cool features, how they have generally the fridges here. I know you can buy those in the UK anyway, but there's just things that are much more sensible and set up for convenience in how you would want to live.
So we just have to check the camera and make sure that we're recording. One of the other massive benefits, and it's a massive benefit because it was one of the things that affected me in the UK, is there is absolutely no traffic here. The only traffic you'll see is coming to a stop at a stoplight or a set of traffic lights. So you can get across northwest to southeast in 30 minutes, and it might be 30 something miles. So you can quite easily visit, as we did yesterday, 8 homes in a couple of hours. And to arrange more than 2 or 3 home viewings in the UK, even if it's across a 10-mile distance, you're probably not going to make it. That's an entire day's worth of work. And we managed to complete 8 in an afternoon.
Yeah. And bearing in mind also the lady that was showing us around kept getting lost. So we lost time, but it took us practically no time to drive all the distances between the homes. It was really quick. In the UK, that just wouldn't happen. No. You'd be stuck in traffic.
It's indescribable how much that adds to your life, or doesn't take away from, I would say. Something like leaving hours to go to my parents, which should be a 25-minute journey, it might take you 2 hours. You just you don't know. Yeah. And you could decide on a Saturday morning that you're going to take a trip to your friends in North London. That might take you 2-3 hours, and then to get back you'll leave thinking, 12 o'clock at night, perfect. They'd have shut every single road, and now you've got another 3-hour journey coming back. That just doesn't happen here, and hopefully it remains that way. What else did we have? We had the negatives, or some of the things that we don't like so much.
The one thing I will cap off on the kind of positives is how nice people seem to be here, or happy. Now, they're either pretending to be happy, but little things like when we were waiting to go into the social security office, the lady just started chatting to us, she was happy. asking what we were
Do
doing.
you know what it reminds me of? The north of England.
Yeah, where people just ask you how your day's going. A guy just, he was cycling, he said hi to both of us. Just that, like, pleasantries, just being nice to people.
Driving around the neighbourhoods and the children waving as
Yeah.
you come past because they're just out on their bikes, having a nice time. And I know people think that it's fake, but it means everybody's faking it all of the time, which would be
They're doing a very good
quite
job.
weird. And if that is what it is, I take it. I accept that. Let's all fake it.
Yeah, and it really does make you feel a lot nicer when you feel more comfortable when you're walking around, interacting with people. You don't feel uncomfortable, and because we're so new here, it's just nice. It's made me feel a lot better anyway.
Yeah, I would agree. The general attitude of people in the States in general, actually, in nearly all of the states that we've been to, is much nicer than the attitude of people in the southeast of England, and I've got my own theories as to why that is.
Maybe we're just unhappy, and and we perpetuate this kind of very negative thing, and we don't mean to do it.
I think it's just the fast-paced lifestyle. So New York isn't as happy and as nice as, say, here or Florida, because New York is very similar to London and the southeast. And nobody has time to do anything, but we're all in a rush to go absolutely nowhere. So we're in a rush to get debt and pay bills, it seems. That's what it seems like. So it's very different here. It's quite nice. It's really refreshing. And I would take a guess and say the 300 days of sunshine has something to do with it as well.
Yes, all that vitamin D that you're getting.
The fact that you know when something like this happens, a pandemic, they're going to do sensible things, try and keep people safe, but also realise that people need to live their lives, unlike the UK where they decide full lockdown for everybody. Doesn't matter how you feel, you just stay indoors. It's best for everyone if we're all depressed. Massive difference. But we'll do some of the things that either aren't as positive or haven't gone as smoothly as we'd like. They're not all negatives. A lot of these will just be around moving to a new country, some of the frustrations that you're going to have. Even if you were moving to the UK as a new person, I'm sure you're going to come up against some of these obstacles.
Yeah, I mean, some of the things, I would say what's been surprising for me is there's two things. The wind that they don't tell you about Las Vegas. So I'm very aware, everyone's warned us about the extreme heat during the summer, and we've come here knowing that the heat here, once it gets June, July, August, it will get super hot. So this temperature now is probably the ideal.
In fact, there was we went on a short walk, which the video is going to be released in 2 days. 2 days from now, that is, not necessarily when you're watching it. And there's warning signs of death via hiking. So is it a recommendation or a do not?
I think they even shut that particular hiking route. They shut off because it's too dangerous to allow you to even attempt to walk it.
Yeah, between July and September.
Yeah, I think they closed off those routes.
It's just too hot. Yeah. And I know we just talked about the freedom, but in this case, I think it is probably good that people aren't encouraged to do it, because it genuinely gets up to 50 C. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, probably about 120, 125. And if you run out of water, you get trapped, you get stuck, you haven't got somebody there, you're definitely going to die.
But we'll see. We've been here during those months, but always in the context of a holiday. So I don't think we don't appreciate what it's like to live here in that heat. But when we get there, we will certainly let you know. But for now, what we've been experiencing is the wind, and it gets very windy here.
But in a way that it's not, the UK is known for being fairly windy, and you hear of the Windy City and various other places in the US. The wind here can start at 2 a.m. and last 20 hours straight of just really strong gusts, followed by moderate gusts, followed by really strong gusts all day. And nobody's mentioned it until we got here.
Now I'm here, people have said, oh yeah, the wind. And actually, I think one of our trips, we went down to that same route by Lake Mead where they close it off during the extreme heat. That day, the wind, I literally felt myself bracing my body as I was walking. And actually we cut filming short because we thought the mic wouldn't pick up the sound. It wasn't an issue in the end, the mic was actually very good. But yeah, extreme wind. Allergies.
Yeah,
I've been suffering from allergies.
surprisingly, this is a desert, and it's a true desert, as in the grass that you see is placed here, manufactured.
Yeah.
The trees are put here. It's a rocky desert, so you would assume you wouldn't get allergies. You wouldn't have hay fever. You wouldn't have pollen, but the pollen count is extremely high daily, all throughout spring. Where it's coming from, I have no idea.
Well, yeah, I guess if I think about it, it's not unexpected they have pollen. I just didn't think it would be that bad. And I actually thought I had a cold the first few days. I was convinced I had a cold, but then it realised that the pollen count was high and everyone said, no, it'll just be allergies. It's very common here. So that's something, and I never experienced that when I came here on holiday. But I think when you're on the strip, because there isn't all the trees, the plants and everything, I'm assuming when you're away from the strip, that's why. I'm not sure.
I don't know. What else did we have?
High insurance, car insurance.
Wow.
That was shocking. After we talked about the cost of living being cheaper here, that's one of the things that's not cheaper than the UK and not cheaper than California either.
No, it's there is a reason, and a fairly rational reason. It's a 24-hour city. There's lots of drunk and drug driving here, and there's lots of uninsured drivers, so that drives the premiums up. But it's to a point where I think on our car at home, which is of the same value as the one we've got here, original sales value, we were paying maybe £500 for a year.
Yeah.
Here we're paying $1,200 for 6 months, so that's about 900 UK pounds for 6 months, or 1,800 for the year. And we were so surprised. We thought it was because we're new residents, we don't have certain things yet, but people are like, oh no, that's just
normal.
That's normal. And there's quite a few people that I've spoken to now that have said if they have family elsewhere, they register their car there and insure it as if it's there and they're just here on a trip, to save the insurance, which I kind of understand, because it's ridiculous here. It shouldn't be 4 or 5 times the amount.
I was shocked. I honestly was shocked at the car insurance price. What else has been surprising?
Difficulty in opening up financial things, financial products and services has been quite challenging. I think it's more based around we're new, we don't have our own apartment or place, we don't have a lease, we don't have a mortgage, so it's really hard to prove that we live here. Had we not have got corporate accommodation, it would be a lot easier, because we would have went straight into our own place. We'd have some form of documentation that says we're here. Oddly, you can get a social security number and a work permit, but you can't prove that you live here, which it just seems a little bit strange to me.
Yeah, I mean, we got our bank account within the first week. The credit card is the bit that's really difficult, and we're going around in circles. And I'm starting to think now maybe it's just our ignorance in believing that we could have done that without having a rental agreement set up, utility bills, and maybe that's just how it is. So we've just learned, until we get our next place, getting that credit card is going to be extremely difficult.
One other downside, this isn't a permanent one, and it affects me more than it does you. The corporate accommodation that we have, and it's not really anybody's fault. The apartment block itself, really nice. The parking works great. The gated part of it is great. The facilities of the place, really good. Gym, coffee bar, pool, really well maintained as well. When things go wrong, there's a person that comes around.
Yeah, management staff are really friendly and nice as well.
However, the apartment that they stuck us in is like a prison cell. So it's an internal part of the building, and the windows face the other part of the building, and it's the wrong side of the sun. So throughout the day it's dark. You have to go outside to get any light. There's not much light that comes through any of they're fairly large windows. There's just no light that comes in. Which
is interesting, because I say one of the things I like about here is the sunshine and the bright blue skies, but I'm working during the week, and I pretty much don't, unless I make a conscious effort to go out at lunch or in the afternoon, I'm not really seeing that. So that's a bit of a shame, but it's temporary, it's fine until we get our new place. Kind of why I really do hope we find somewhere quickly so we can get out and start enjoying the sunshine a bit more, not feeling trapped.
We're having not a disagreement, we value slightly different things in terms of our home. Yours is really highly about the specific location.
Yeah, more about location.
As they say, location, location, location. I value location highly, as I've learned over the last 4 or 5 years with where we've lived. But I also value the amenities and facilities of the property that you're on. So yesterday you would have put an offer down on one of the places, and I said no because it didn't have a pool or even a big backyard. These are definitely first world ridiculous. We hear ourselves when we're talking about this, but
Hear yourself.
no, but the truth is they're first world problems because we put ourselves in this position. We're not putting ourselves in a position of, oh, we should struggle or should be grateful. We're not. We work for it, and we try and put ourselves in really good places, which is why I think we are.
Yeah, we're allowed that. I did say yesterday it's going to bother him more.
Definitely.
And you can put me in most places, I'm really not going to complain. Even you could put me in a bad location, I probably won't complain. I'm quite easygoing like that. The one thing I do know is I really like here, so I really would like to get a place in this particular location, see how it goes for the next year, and then as we learn more about Las Vegas and the area, we then are in a better position to pick a home in the right place for us.
Anyway, we won't bore you anymore. Those are our first initial, probably quite jumbled thoughts on the first few weeks. Make sure you subscribe.
Please subscribe.
And we can see you, it's in the analytics. We know you're watching, you just don't subscribe to it for whatever reason. So yeah, if you can do us a favour, subscribe, it helps us out a lot.
Keep commenting. What's really nice for me, and I said this to Anne a while back, it's really hard doing the videos when you don't know your viewers and you don't know what they're thinking. And what's been really nice in the last
few months,
yeah, we've had people commenting, and whether it's on the video itself or even on Instagram, on my Instagram page, that gives me an idea that I am actually talking to someone, because I really struggle.
Yeah. And actually that's a good point. It has helped out a lot, and because quite a few of the comments are people that are either trying to do something similar or have got something to add or help out, or can we see this, it's really helpful for both of us. Firstly, secondly, for when I'm editing, but also to know that the content's working or not.
Yeah, so thank you. Please keep commenting and we'll keep continuing to do the videos.
Thanks.